What is up, guys? Fado82 coming at you with a weekly Rust update video. What you're taking a look at right now is a new piece of headgear that's been added into Rust. It's called an improvised Balaclava. It's a burlap sack that's been fashioned into a piece of headgear, fashioned into a Balaclava specifically, and it's an absolutely fitting view model for Rust. What you also want to take note of here is a new idle animation for a character holding a weapon, as is demonstrated by the character with the assault rifle. The other new piece of headgear that's been added into the game is a Boonie Cap being modeled by Drostan from Play Rust Public Radio. If you guys are interested in acquiring these items, they're not going to be default blueprints, so you can't craft them right from the get-go, and you're going to have to go ahead and hit some barrels to find the blueprints. The Boonie Cap's going to run you 70 cloth. It will not offer you any protection stats. The improvised Balaclava will run you 60 cloth, and it will offer you some protection. Also, on the topic of armor, be aware that the wood armor and the bone armor are no longer default blueprints. You're going to have to go ahead and find the blueprints if you want to craft those items. The satellite dish now has a minor change to it in that it has a secret room in the middle of it, so it's something that you want to be aware of when you're walking around this area. It's an absolutely prime spot for somebody to camp a player, so when you're up here hitting a barrel, be aware of what's going on around. And the biggest change in this week's iteration of Rust comes in the form of gunplay. Specifically, the muzzle flash has been greatly reduced and it no longer occludes or obstructs targets when you're aiming down the sights and firing. This was much needed and it's going to be a bit of a game changer. Also, the view model has been reduced in terms of the sway when you're looking down the iron sights, and that's something that also is going to help you to be a little more accurate with the guns in Rust. Hit sounds in terms of indicators for hitting players have been added in, and it's a bit of a toned down version of the headshot sound, but when you hit a player in the body, it now makes a sound indicating that you've landed that hit. This is something that also is going to help you to greatly improve the PvP in the game. This is something that is a bit of a game changer, guys, and it's really going to add to the intensity of PvP experiences in Rust. And another important aspect of this week's iteration of Rust, there have been some notable changes to the loot tables. Specifically, the bone armor and the wood armor, as we stated before, is no longer default blueprint, so that has changed, but also the roadside armor has increased in terms of rarity. It's a bit more of a rare find, and pistol armor is more common, so be aware of that. And this week's iteration of Rust brought with it some changes to the way the items despawn when they're dropped into the ground. It is tied to the rarity of the item, so that's a variable that will be taken into account, but overall items are going to be sticking around for a bit longer, and this applies to player corpses as well, so that's something that you want to keep in mind. Sleeping bags have had a much needed nerf this week, and they can no longer be placed in multiple stacks on top of one another, and that's something that was very much needed in the game. Rain also has been nerfed. You're going to notice that the skies are a bit brighter and the sun's shining a bit more in Rust, and that's really a good thing because the rain was affecting performance and it was just overall raining too much. So as always, guys, these things will be tweaked in future iterations of Rust, so keep that in mind. I really enjoyed making the video. Fado82, peace.